With Bitcoin hitting new all-time highs, everybody and their mother wants to know, when will the altcoin season start? When is their massive bull run? So far in this cycle, only a handful of altcoins like Solana and of course meme coins saw massive gains. We see people all over social media worrying and speculating. Is this bull cycle different to all the other ones in the past? Is this the one where we see altcoins not going and rallying? There are arguments to be made that the Bitcoin ETF have changed the game for altcoins. But don't let these emotions and arguments fool you. We are about to see a massive altcoin season and we're about to start a rally that's going to be crazy. In this video, we will cover what an altcoin season is, why it hasn't happened yet, when it could start, how to tell that it's coming right now, and which specific altcoins you have to watch out for. So what is the altcoin season? Many people think that altcoin season means that altcoins are just pumping. But the real definition of an altcoin season is a sustained period where the majority of altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin itself. Historically speaking, in the last couple of bull cycles, we saw always the same game happening, okay? People are taking profits, people are making profits with Bitcoin. They take these profits, rotate it over to Ethereum, take profits again, and then they rotate it into altcoins. First, larger cap altcoins, then mid cap altcoins, and then smaller cap, more degenerate bets, so to say, right? But also with a higher potential of an upside. How does this look like in reality? Bob sits in his Coinbase app and sees, oh, I made a lot of profit with Bitcoin. Let's take these profits and let's make even more money because Bitcoin already grew so high, right? And let's push it into smaller cap altcoins, right? It has a way smaller market cap, so we have more room to grow. And because such a large amount of people were doing this, this means capital is flowing out of Bitcoin into altcoins. So what does this mean? The growth of altcoins is sacrificing Bitcoin. And as we remember, Bitcoin is the leader, Ethereum follows, and all the altcoins follow. In other words, for altcoins to do well, Bitcoin has to do well. But what happens if all the capital or a large amount of capital flows from Bitcoin over to altcoins? Bitcoin goes down. And what do all the altcoins do? They follow Bitcoin. In this cycle, however, we have large amounts of capital in Bitcoin that are not held on an app that are easy swappable into other projects. This means we could see a massive altcoin season without sacrificing Bitcoin. This means in return, Bitcoin stays high, altcoin stays high, Bitcoin doesn't go down, so altcoins don't follow. This means potentially we see a much more massive Bitcoin bull run on the one side, but also altcoin season, much more massive than the last one. But there are different arguments to be made. We'll go through all of them and then you can make your clear picture at the end. We'll make a conclusion what I'm seeing, where I'm placing my bet, and also for you how to make a healthy bet in order to grow your capital. As earlier mentioned in this video, an altcoin season starts when altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. And here we take one of the highest performer in the altcoin space in this cycle, Solana, and see how it does against Bitcoin, okay? And we see that they're not outperforming Bitcoin right now. The same we can see here with the Ethereum Bitcoin pair. Ethereum is yet to outperform Bitcoin. This means the altcoin season has not yet started. Let's come to the next important question. Why has the altcoin season not started yet? Some people in the crypto space point to the Bitcoin ETF preventing money from rotating from Bitcoin into altcoins. And while this is an argument to be made, what I see much more likely is that we just yet have not seen enough retail investors bringing fresh capital into the markets and flooding the altcoin market with their money. One great indicator to always see in what kind of stage of a bull cycle we are is Google Trend. It's simple, but it's so effective, okay? If we just take buy crypto or crypto, we can see how retail investors are flooding the market. It's like, hey, how do I buy crypto? Okay, go to Google, right? And we can see here in the last bull cycle what happened. Boom. And if we compare right now, we can see there is a rise, right? We see the volume is going up, but it's nowhere near to where it used to be. So how I see the situation right now is that there is interest outside of the crypto bubble, right? We have people, my mom mentioning Bitcoin once in a while, right? There are other people who are outside of the crypto bubble who are asking, hey, how do I buy crypto? But we can see that they are not yet here to actually put their money where their mouth is. So the interest starts to rise up, we can see here, but it's nowhere near close. We're not there yet. Brings us to our next question. When is the altcoin season starting? The short answer is that we need the interest of retailers, from people outside of the crypto bubble, to be focusing on altcoins, on the crypto market. So we then see whales with billions of dollars rotating their funds their capital from Bitcoin into the altcoin market because they then want retailers to be their exit liquidity later when they start to FOMO their money into the market. The long answer, however, is more complicated. In the last cycle, we had billions of people locked into their house due to COVID. And on top of that, the government even gave them out free money, nearly $1 trillion in stimulus checks. And of course, most people took that money and invested it into Louis Vuitton. They went out, bought Gucci, all of this crap, right? But also a ton of people went out there and took that free money and speculated it into stocks and of course also into crypto. They're sitting there at home, bored out of their mind because there's nothing to do. And they're like, hey, what should I do? Let's take that free money and just make more money out of it. And of course, the psychology of people who have free money is, I'm not afraid to lose that money while speculating it into some penny stock or into some meme coin, into some shit coin, right? So what happened is massive amounts of capital flooded the market and people started to invest a lot into altcoins. The situation in this cycle, however, is way different. We don't have all these retail investors, all the dumb money, I want to call it, sitting at home, bored out of their mind, researching all day long on their computer, being on Facebook, being on Instagram. And we don't have any new stimulus checks out there yet. But on the other side, we have insanely high interest rates and the official inflation rate is out of control. Many countries are officially in a recession and we have record levels of debt. So we have to admit that the conditions in this cycle are very different to the conditions in the last cycle. But the longer we are facing these negative conditions out there in the market, the more likely we will see the government printing new record amounts of fiat and giving it out into the market. This is again the situation where crypto and the entire financial market pretty much heavily profits from free money hitting the market. But if these tough market situations that we have right now, without any stimulus checks, without any free money from the government hitting the market, the next altcoin season could be extremely underwhelming compared to our expectations. But even with all of these pessimistic standpoints, and don't forget, we had these pessimistic points in all of the past cycles, right? It was always like this, that people were saying, oh, now Bitcoin went down by 30%. China is banning crypto mining, Bitcoin mining, right? This is happening over there. Biden said this over there. He doesn't like crypto. Most probably the whole party's over and Bitcoin will be banned forever. We had this in all the cycles, right? All of these pessimistic points. But one thing that we never want to forget is Bitcoin is here to stay. Crypto is here to stay, right? It pushed through so much. And one thing, one phenomenon is the FOMO. People feel so much FOMO and they're just so passionate about taking a small amount of money, putting it and betting it on some coin, and getting a large amount of money out on the other side without doing any work. And this is the most powerful and most strong factor that speaks for a altcoin season. So if a random guy, Patrick, let's call him Patrick, sits in front of his phone on Instagram and sees suddenly, oh, this guy just invested $90 into this one meme coin with a lion as a logo. And he made out of this one lion coin where he invested $90 in, $100,000. Whoa. Take my $90, right? Take my $200, take my $1,000, $5,000. This is how this whole thing works. And this is how the altcoin season, again, will flourish, in my opinion. So I just wanted to lay out all of these pessimistic and negative points. But in my opinion, we will be seeing a much larger and much more powerful altcoin season than we have ever seen in the past. But I would bet that this altcoin season is the last season where we see 10x, 30x gains just sitting there waiting for us. You probably feel like you're late to the party right now, but let me tell you, we're still early. If we're looking at the market cap of altcoins, we can see that we're far out from hitting the top. We just hit here $350 billion in market cap for altcoins. And at our top, we were at $431 billion, right? So that means we still have a lot to the new all-time high and potentially even exceed this by 20, 30, 40%. And even with all the arguments why this cycle most probably will be much smaller than the last cycle, I don't buy into all of this. I don't believe that stuff. I think the next 12 to 18 months will be absolutely life-changing for the people who take action right now and take the right and smart action. More millionaires will be created in this market cycle than ever before. And think about one thing, keep this in mind. These millionaires are being created out of nothing. There is no shoe that is being created in China and shipped over to America and then sold in a Nike outlet. All of this is digital. There is something created out of nothing. This is genius. Remember one thing, keep this in mind for the entire bull cycle, okay? People are so crazy emotional, it's unbelievable. Bitcoin has a red candle. People are like, oh no, Bitcoin went down by 17%. Let's sell all of my Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes down a little bit more. Then what happens? Of course, the market picks up. They're like, oh, this is undervalued. Let's put my money into Bitcoin. Price goes up again. The same person is like, oh no, Bitcoin goes to the moon, right? Let's buy in again at a higher price. And this is what people are doing over and over and over again. And as soon as this momentum is gaining up and up and up, more and more FOMO is flooding the market. These people are bringing their capital into the market and the prices are flourishing and going up even more. One thing that we do not want to do is we do not want to wait and place our bets after the Bitcoin halving. If you're part of the FOMO crowd who are just coming in there and like, oh, let's take my entire money and gamble it into the market. I don't understand what it is. I don't understand what it does. I don't understand the fundamentals of crypto. I have no clue how such a bull cycle, but I don't care. Right? I just want that 1000x, then you're most likely about to lose your money. I will cover the two main principles later in this video, and I will give you the exact altcoins that we're picking, that my analyst team and I are investing our money in, and that we see a great chance of 10xing or even 20, some even 100xing from here. But again, do your own research, okay? Crypto is risky. Most people are losing their money in crypto, right? But if you're here because you want to place a bet and you want to have it even a little bit risky, but you're here to win big, then let's go and continue. So how can we tell that the altcoin season started? The short answer is, like I mentioned already, watch these couple of indicators. Coinbase app, Binance app, Crypto.com app is ranking very high in the App Store, top 10. Check Google Trends and see if we're moving into the same levels that we were in the last bull cycle. And as soon as your mom or any family member, your aunt, is showing up and shows serious buying intent, buying interest, and they actually take their money and say, I want to buy Bitcoin, I want to buy this one meme coin, I want to buy this altcoin. Boom, then we're there. As soon as the mainstream media on TV covers altcoin news and actually causing a pump, prices go up because of that, then we're there. But don't confuse one thing. If my mom just shows up, or your mom, and says, hey, how's Bitcoin going? This doesn't mean she has buying intent. She has to stand there with hard cash and say, I want to invest this money. Nick, can you please take a couple $1,000 of your money and put it into crypto for me? This means we're there, okay? This means the altcoin season has started, and this means that we're about to go serious. The altcoin season starts when the FOMO is so real that people who are actually not interested in crypto are going out of their way to take their hard-earned cash and invest it into crypto. But if we want to successfully invest into altcoins and make a 10 to 20x with altcoins, we need to understand the entire crypto narrative in this market. You can clearly see here in the past, when we learn from history, how the Bitcoin halving event, these black lines here, had a massively positive effect on the performance of altcoins. Right? We can always see after the halving, whoop, prices stay a little bit there and then boom, go up. Okay, we have small consolidation, little sideways movement, and boom, we go up. If we check the price performance of some key altcoins of the last cycle, we can see what actually happened to them after the halving event, okay? Here we can see Chainlink, for example, 1,260% after the 2020 halving. I mean, this is insane. It goes from not even $4 all the way up to $47. Same with Polygon. And this is where we see truly spectacular percentages, right, of growth. That's unbelievable. And there is a definite correlation between the halving event and altcoin prices are just pumping up. So we can clearly see that there is money to be made in this market, okay? The bets that we're placing can be very, very profitable, but we need to understand what kind of bets we want to place, and especially when we want to place these bets. Like, the worst thing that can happen is that you are joining in when the party is fully over and everybody's about to leave. So we have another 28 days. A little bit over 28 days until the Bitcoin halving is taking place. And correlation of these 28 days that we have here, correlating to seeing what always happens after the halving event, right? And if we remember what always happens after the halving event, we know exactly when is the best time to place our bets. It's not going to be up here. We want to have our bets placed over here. That means we just have 28 days left to make these altcoin bets in order to maximize our profits. So what are the altcoins that we have our eyes on? What are the altcoins that we place our bets in? And for this, we mainly have to understand retail investors' psychology. What does John do if he hears his colleague say, hey, oh, I made so much money with this one coin? What is he doing? He downloads the Coinbase app. He has all the FOMO on TV. All the people in his office are talking about crypto, how crazy everything goes. He downloads the Coinbase app, and this is what these people are actually doing. They're pushing their money into The coins where they have the easiest accessibility with, just like monkey sees and monkey buys. We're looking for coins with small market caps and small prices per coin, because what's the psychology of retail investors who are coming in at a later stage? They see suddenly, whoa, Bitcoin costs $250,000. I can't afford that. I don't have $250,000, but there's this one coin my neighbor said, hey, it's anyways way better than Bitcoin. It's way faster than Bitcoin. And I've heard somebody else talk about how it's better than Bitcoin. And it's only 50 cents. So I can afford that. So let's take my $5,000 and put it into there, because the market cap, they're not even looking for market caps. But my chance of having a way higher upside on this small coin is way higher than now putting money into Bitcoin. But remember here, people on like these people is like this crowd in particular is not looking for market caps. They look for cheap prices and they're like, oh, if Bitcoin can go to 250,000 and this little coin for 50 cents can go to $10, oh, I made so much money. But in my opinion, the most important factor is always that it has to fit the narrative or the hype of this cycle. We have DeFi, we have gaming, we have AI, and of course we have meme coins. And we need a project with good tokenomics. The most important thing I'm looking there at is the difference between the market cap and the fully diluted market cap. If the difference is too high, what does that mean? That we are most likely are getting dumped on by the founder and by the VCs who got early access and they're still holding the coins. One project I really like and believe in is AASH. The price is not super high, and I also have to say their market cap is not super low, right, at $1.3 billion. But for an AI company, it's also not super high. So me and my team, we can definitely see this going 5 to 7x from here. In AI specifically, a $1.3 billion market cap is nothing crazy and outrageous. Their user case is understandable for retail investors and it makes sense in total. Cloud computing is a major tech trend outside and inside of crypto. And I think that AASH could definitely attract huge amounts of interest from people. We covered our main AI investments in the last altcoin video, so I want to go a little bit more over and lean into the gaming crypto hype. While I was never interested in gaming, it's not my thing, right? I'm not a gamer. I understand that the market loves it, and it's the hype about gaming and especially gaming crypto is super real. The use case makes sense. People are irrationally passionate about gaming, and that's why understanding it a little bit is important, right? I understand gaming crypto, but I see that this niche is just crazily still undervalued in some projects, but has such crazy hype and people are just irrationally passionate about it. And here it's just exactly the same as in AI. As soon as we see these top performers up here, right? Like the companies with the big market cap, as soon as we see them being covered in mainstream media and one of them just takes up, let's say for example, Beam gets covered and pushed by mainstream media, right? All of these hungry retail investors, they're like, oh, Beam, that's amazing. The use case makes so much sense. They don't understand the use case, right? They don't even care about this. They just have the FOMO. They're like, I need to be in gaming crypto, and Beam is exactly my coin. They put their money in there. This one project takes off. The rest of them are following. And then of course, also the ones with the smaller market cap down here, right? 300 million. They take Beam's place up here, and Beam then is at $4, $5, $6, $7 billion market cap, maybe even higher. We don't know how crazy this bull cycle goes, but all of these smaller ones down here go up, right? Of course, the lower we go with market caps, the riskier is the bet. But if we want to be kind of safe, but we want to have exposure in gaming because we're like, hey, this makes total sense. What we want to do is we want to build a diversified gaming portfolio. So if I don't want to go full on risk, what am I doing? I'm taking up here the projects who already showed proof that they have a great user case, they have a great product, they know marketing, and they already have a pretty sweet market cap. Of course, my multiple will not be crazy, right? But I can see definitely a 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe even 10x at these projects over here once the alt season goes really crazy. So the projects that I definitely have my eye on is Beam. We have an investment in Beam for quite some time already. Certainly Ronin. Checked. I'm not going to go now into specifics about the product, about the team. You can check that yourself, but the numbers look pretty sweet. They had a good performance, and I can see Ronin just go higher and higher. Their marketing is on point. They really feed into the narrative. Of course, I have an investment in the Sandbox, and I also have here in Mana an investment since the last bull cycle. I've not went crazy and stocking up my positions in these two, but I still have the bag in there. One more project I always have my eye on is Gala. I think it definitely feeds into the narrative. Marketing is on point. They are doing a really good job. I can see that multiplying from here, right, at $2 billion. It's not low market cap. We cannot see these 100x's, like very unlikely that we see something like this, but it's a way safer bet when it comes to these gaming coins here. I still have an investment from last bull cycle here in Engine, and one coin I always have my eye on is Prime here, okay? I think the marketing is great. I think the user case is great. But I have to be honest, I find gaming ridiculous. I would not sit there, like there's no chance I'm sitting there and playing any of these games. I'm not a gamer. There are people out there who are saying, hey, only invest into projects and stuff that you are like fully sold on, that you're using yourself. And I get that point. But one thing that I understand is that all of these projects here tick the most important points when it comes to hype in the space, okay? Number one, people are irrationally emotional about gaming. Number two, it ticks off the logical box off for investors. Emotional means Patrick from Austria goes on IG and he suddenly sees one of his friends who says, hey, in his Instagram story, look at how much money I made with this gaming coin. Patrick is like, oh, he made 15x. I want that too, right? I want to put my couple $100 or a couple $1,000 into a coin and I want to make a 10x, 30x from here, okay? And then the logical point, the tech behind all of these projects makes a lot of sense. They look pretty decent, okay? And the vision that they're selling to the people makes absolute sense. That Patrick sits there as an investor and says, this game here is the future, right? Everybody's about to play this. These companies are so good in selling their vision, and that's why big thumbs up for me for gaming crypto. It makes a lot of sense, even though I'm not a consumer myself. One project I love that also has kind of a sweet performance here is Pendle up here, right? Their market cap is just below $1 billion and their fully diluted market cap is very close to the number, right? This is a very good sign for this project. We see a pretty sweet performance up here. And what they're doing is they're innovating how people can earn cash flow from their crypto holdings. This is a user case where every person understands, hey, this makes sense. This has a real life user case. I like it. It just makes sense to me. In my opinion, DeFi is here to stay. DeFi makes sense. It was the narrative of the last cycle, but it's not just a short-term hype, right? I think this price here is still low and it has a great potential to pump really good after the Bitcoin halving. So in conclusion, when is the altcoin season about to start? It starts when the retail money, when large amounts of capital from people who are not in the crypto bubble are entering the market. And with all of this attention from retailers, the whales who are in Bitcoin take out their profits and roll it over into altcoins. This is when altcoins are really taking off. What you want to do is you always want to keep these indicators in mind, right? The ones we went through, Google Trends, the rank of Coinbase, Binance in the App Store. We have to understand the narratives of this cycle. We need to play into that narrative, right? We cannot just pick a random project and say, this is going to take off. If we truly understand what the narrative is and our investment, the project that we invest in, plays into that narrative, the chance is very, very high that we have a winner, okay? We want accessibility for retailers, right? So that means we cannot be on some random, crazy, strange wallet that takes like super brain power and super crypto know-how in order to buy that coin here, right? So for example, I know a couple of retailers, for them it's like super hard to download MetaMask and buy coins in there. They're not buying it, although they have the money and they want to put it in there, but for them it's too hard to download. So accessibility, super, super important. Anyways, guys, that's it with the video. I'll keep you updated about all the new investments that we're taking in the penthouse. If you're not in there, what are you doing? I have such a crazy team on my side. We're paying 30 grand per month to our analyst team, and you get all the information in there for free, right? We don't charge anything for that. We're no course sellers. We're even right now working on a great course so you understand full crypto, you understand crypto trading, and you can get out of this bull cycle as a way richer man or lady, right, than you were before, without having the financial means to have such an analyst team, okay? If you're not in the penthouse, go to my Instagram or click the link down below. You can message me on Instagram or click the link down below. Get yourself into the penthouse, and I'll see you in there. Let's rock this bull cycle.